All right. Welcome back, you guys. I hope you saw some good movies here recently. I personally didn't. I'm just kidding. Today we're going to be doing a reflection on a film. It's Reflection Tuesdays, as I like to call them. And so we're going to be talking about a little summer blockbuster right here in the middle of the deadest part of winter. And as I look out the window and I can see nothing but fog and cold and breeze and stagnant air, as it were. The film I'm going to be talking about today is Bullet Train from 2022. It's one of the better ones I think that came out that summer. Um, I didn't personally get to see this one in theaters. I know my friend did, and he said it was pretty fun in theater. I watched this one way later that is, when it came out on Netflix there for a while. It's a good one in either format. I think this one works either on a big screen or in a much smaller screen, so you know that's always fun. But I wanted to talk about this movie. As far as news goes, there's nothing really too new out. Uh, it is going to be, I think, later this month in the theaters on the 29th is Iron Lung. I'm pretty excited about that one. It's coming right out right before my birthday in the first week of February, so I'm hoping to get out and see that one actually for a little birthday gift to myself. I'm pretty excited about it. But so that's exciting, along with the fact that they're finalizing the deals and doing all cash offers. Netflix is for the acquisition of HBO Max and the streaming side of the Warner Brothers company, and so that's coming up right around the corner. That's something I've suspected for a long time would happen, but I think it will do great. I've always seen whenever you go on VPNs across the world, there's some actual DC films on Netflix. Mostly everywhere except for the U.S., they have almost seemingly exclusive rights to DC films worldwide. So that's interesting to me, and I've always wondered if that was a little bit of a Easter egg or a foreshadowing type thing for the deal that happened there. But I didn't really want to talk about that too much today. I wanted to reflect on the summer blockbuster as we're heading closer and closer towards summer is right around the corner, and this summer is just packed full of movies. More and more announcements are coming out that I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that too. So, uh, if you guys could help me get to 15 subscribers, I'm hoping to do something special for that one. And if you guys like it, always go and support me on Letterboxd. It helps a bunch. That the algorithm knows that I matter. So share this with a friend, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and make sure you do good out and support your local cinemas this summer. There are so many good ones coming out, let alone some of the huge ones that are landmarking this year, like the Odyssey, uh, Supergirl, Spider-Man: Brand New Day, Avengers: Doomsday, to name just a couple that I know are coming out this year. That will be massive. So, I want to talk about this one. It's a very talking about Bullet Train now, getting right into uh, the train. Grab your train ticket with me. We're going to go on a little bit of a reflection and review ride. Here we go. Hang on. Make sure you take your seats. This is a very unique movie. I expect nothing less, though, from director David Leitch. His films are always high quality, interesting, and one of a kind. Between the amazing all star cast, and I mean, there's just so many people I could go through. Brad Pitt, the fantastic duo that we didn't know we needed at the time, but I think works better throughout time. Brian Tyree Henry and Aaron Taylor Johnson as Lemon and Tangerine, the twins. Uh, they are just fantastic, but they make this film a great watch. I mean, the cast alone is a accomplishment in and of itself. But there's a lot of fun plot moments. Sometimes it can be a lot to keep up with, a little bit of a lot to keep up with. Um, but I think it stands up as a solid original action film. Brad Pitt carries this on his back, I think, for the majority of the film. But it's a fast paced one. There's a lot of fast paced keep up storytelling, which is occasionally a little tedious, and I can understand. But I don't think it's any more tedious to keep up with than something like, the Hateful Eight. Just as an example, I think it's not terribly much worse as long as you keep up with the different character stuff. You do really just have to watch this one, which in a time where they have to explain the plot through breakdown for those who are still on their phones while watching the movie. I can understand why this one would be not a first choice, but I think it's a great one. Um, but I think it works pretty well along with the action. Um, some of the really cool action set pieces throughout make this one a, an experience. So, and it is an experience, a good one, which is rare with these types of films. With a cast that carries a film and fun action set pieces, it's and just enough twists to keep bubbling underneath the surface. This film actually is a ride on the bullet train, and is an absolute blast of an action cult classic. Despite the fact that when it came out at the time, it wasn't well received by critics as a whole for being tedious and sometimes a little underwhelming, or maybe overwhelming at the same time. Didn't get that many. Got like 52% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is about what this film should get. Um, but over time, I think it will become one of those ones that you'll see in a couple years being remade. Like in a couple decades, we might see a Running Man type remake where it's either a direct like legacy sequel or some of the plot might get revamped in a different way, and it will get all the praise then. So, um, but I think it's one of those ones that will stick out in a couple decades as like a 2020s classic, if you will. Um, the highlights, I think the chemistry is great between Brad Pitt and Brian Tyree and Aaron Taylor Johnson just steal the show. Honestly, as the twins, I mean, they make it the most enjoyable. Their storytelling between each other and their relationship is just awesome. The pace, I think, is also a good highlight for this one. The storytelling is fast and occasionally dense, but it ultimately adds to the film's frantic bullet train energy. Like you gotta just imagine you're on a ride. It's a it's a little bit of a roller coaster. The action, I think, is very creative. There's a lot of creative moments that make it very watchable, and you're like, well, that's a unique way to do that, and something I haven't ever seen in a action casual or a R-rated, um, you know, run of the mill film. And I think that's good. And a lot of the twists and the actual character stories are really well done. I think if you just give it a chance and watch it for what it is. Uh, Despite the mediocre, underwhelming critical reception on this one, the cast performance and the sheer fun of this ride turn this into a modern cult classic. Like I said, I think this one will be looked back on in a couple decades as a Running Man level type film just because of the world that it's set in and the fact that it does keep you engaged despite, a couple of its little flaws. Um, but this one you can watch on Hulu and on Prime. They are both uh, good options to watch it for free. And of course, I always say, support movies like that. And you'll see why I say what I say. I will warn you, it is R rated, so, go in with that pretense. There's a little bit of language and quite a bit of violence. Um, So just keep that in mind as far as family friendliness goes. But that's all I really wanted to talk about today. This is a streaming classic, I think. It's always top 10 on Hulu, I've noticed. And so it does well as a streaming film because you can keep up with it. Even if you are on your phone, it does, I hope really well. So, that being said, I look forward to seeing you guys here soon. Hopefully, uh, we'll get to 15 subscribers. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Share this channel with a friend, and we will see you guys in the next film. All right, peace.